Welcome to the Explainer. So, you know that feeling when you're listening to native English speakers and it literally sounds like they're speaking in a secret code? Yeah, you're definitely not alone. It's because everyday American English relies incredibly heavily on idioms. If you're trying to translate these conversations word for word, you're going to be completely lost, right? Today, we're diving straight into a real-world dialogue to uncover the true meanings behind these vibrant expressions so you can start mastering them yourself.
Okay, let's dive into this. Why on earth would American furniture cost body parts? Seriously, if you translate American idioms literally, you end up with some incredibly weird, frankly terrifying mental images. Imagine actually trying to pay for a new sofa with your physical limbs. No way, right? It's totally ridiculous. But it really hits the nail on the head as to why we have to study these expressions as complete chunks of words, rather than individual vocabulary words, to actually get what people are saying. To really grasp these idioms, we need a good story. So let's set the stage here. Meet Bob. He's the manager of a furniture store, and his boss, Peter. Now, things are going horribly wrong for them. Bob's recent advertising campaign completely failed, sales are down, and Peter is basically at his breaking point. We're going to walk through their dramatic workplace conflict line by line. This way, you can hear exactly how these idioms are used in the wild, with natural American pacing and pronunciation.
Listen closely to how Peter kicks things off. I'm going to step into the shoes of the frustrated boss here. Notice the serious, steady rhythm in his voice. Bob, I hate to break the news, but our sales were down again last month. See how he stretches out that word down? It really emphasizes the heavy burden of their failing business. Now, Bob is totally put on the spot. He immediately gets defensive, maybe a little surprised. Down again, Peter? You hear how his intonation goes way up sharply at the end there? It completely shows his shock and disbelief. But Peter, well, he isn't buying the surprise. He's just totally exasperated. Yeah, these days, everybody's shopping at our competition, Honest Abe's furniture store. Notice that complaining tone? He heavily stresses the word everybody to really highlight the massive scale of the problem they're facing.
Then Bob jumps in to fiercely defend his store, and boom, here is our first major idiom. But everything in there costs an arm and a leg. Listen to how naturally those words just flow together as one single fluid phrase. It's punchy, it's emphatic, and it's a completely defensive reflex from Bob.
Peter firmly holds his ground, though. He acknowledges what Bob is saying, but he's absolutely not backing down. That's true. They do charge top dollar. Bob tries tossing out another excuse, leaning super heavily into this feeling of disgust to justify why his store is better. And their salespeople are very strange. They really give me the creeps. You can almost hear him physically shudder on the word creeps. That emotion perfectly sets the context for this idiom. Peter just brings the tension right back to the core problem. He is so done with the excuses. Well, they must be doing something right over there. Meanwhile, we're about to go belly up. The tension is just skyrocketing here, right? The harsh reality of their failing business is finally setting in.
Bob, who is somehow still holding on to a tiny shred of naive optimism, sounds super regretful. I'm sorry to hear that. I thought my new advertising campaign would save the day. And here it is, the crushing final blow from Peter, delivered with just cold, hard truth. Let's face it, your advertising campaign was a real flop. Bob frantically scrambles to fix it, basically pleading, well, then I'll go back to the drawing board. But Peter just cuts him right off, cold as ice. It's too late for that. You're fired. Boom. Just a perfectly executed, incredibly dramatic climax to an American workplace scene.
Section 1, Decoding Idioms. What did they actually say? Let's quickly rewind the tape and break down these specific phrases. Let's start with that first key phrase Peter used. To break the news literally just means to make something known. But culturally, it carries a ton of weight. We use this when we're introducing important and honestly very often negative or disruptive information. It's like you're literally breaking the listener's current reality with a brand new fact. And this brilliantly illustrates how versatile the idiom is, way beyond just getting fired. Check out these alternate examples. You could have Samantha and Michael breaking the news to their parents about getting married. That's highly positive, totally life-changing information. But on the flip side, you might need to break the news to a father very carefully to avoid giving him a heart attack. So it's really all about the massive significance of the revelation. All right, moving to our next idiom. If we take Bob literally, we're picturing this hilarious, frankly horrific image of handing over physical limbs to pay for a couch. But contrast that with the actual meaning, which is just something being very expensive. This massive difference is exactly why trying to translate word for word completely fails you in the real world.
So the absolutely crucial point here is that when you say something costs an arm and a leg, you're just stating that it's extremely expensive. You'll usually drop this phrase when you want to express a bit of shock, maybe frustration, or just pure disbelief at a ridiculously high price tag.
Let's look at how to naturally weave this into your daily speech with some examples from the text. You could say, a college education in America costs an arm and a leg. Or, exactly like Bob used it to complain about his rival, all the furniture at Honest Abe's costs an arm and a leg. Connect it to big ticket items like that, and I promise your English will immediately sound highly idiomatic. Finally, let's look at the phrase Bob used to describe those weird salespeople. To give one the creeps. This means to create a profound feeling of disgust or horror. It's a really visceral physical reaction. When a situation or a person makes you physically uncomfortable or makes you shiver with unease, they are absolutely giving you the creeps. Here are some highly relatable examples from the source material to really cement this concept in your brain. Imagine Ted's friend Matt, who rocks 7 earrings and a giant I love mom tattoo. Honestly, he really gives Nicole the creeps. Or think about a strange man following you around the grocery store. That instantly sets off your warning bells, right? That exact feeling, that shiver down your spine, is exactly what it means to get the creeps. We've thoroughly decoded all the workplace drama today, and now the power is entirely in your hands. So I have to ask, which of these idioms will you use in your next conversation to sound more like a native speaker? Are you going to strategically break the news to a friend? Maybe complain that a new smartphone costs an arm and a leg? Or will you warn someone about a weird movie that gives you the creeps? Pick just one, try it out today, and watch your conversational English completely transform.